Hello, this is Crystal Racing here with the race review for the 2021 Spanish Grand Prix. And Lewis Hamilton is your winner after what was, in my opinion, an intriguing tactical battle between Mercedes and Red Bull, where once again Mercedes absolutely hoodwinked the boys from Milton Keynes. So, Lewis Hamilton, for me, will get 9 out of 10. Got shoved out of the way at the start by Max Verstappen, who, in my opinion, did a very good job to lead most of the race. But, of course, Red Bull, when Mercedes decides to pit for a second time, Red Bull decides to go all conservative and try and hope that Max, and Max himself, thought that he could literally just hold on to the front, and even with tyres that were nearly, 30 laps old, 40 laps old actually, that they'd be able to hold off Lewis Hamilton towards the end. But that was totally wrong. So, and that's pretty much why they lost the race, because of course, as we all know, Mercedes' raw pacing in clean air is far superior to that of Red Bull. And once again, Red Bull made a crucial tactical error, just like in 2019 Hungary. Of course, the first time they did it along with Max, it was forgivable because, Red Bull had the fastest car that weekend, but of course Lewis Hamilton pumped in the laps and overtook him. And you'd think that, knowing from that sort of experience, they would not make the same mistake, but they did. Max Verstappen gets 9 out of 10. Very good drive, although once again he did kind of blow his chance of getting pole position in a Red Bull that does have a power advantage down the straights. Valtteri Bottas finished third. I'll give him 7 out of 10 for his general pace being decent this weekend. However, that moment when he did hold up Lewis Hamilton, when of course Lewis was chasing Max, I personally will give Valtteri Bottas reject of the day for being way too stubborn with trying to let Lewis pass, and the way he really forced Lewis to try and have to overtake him. That was some really selfish driving. And because there were no real bad moves or any bad displays of driving this weekend, for me, Valtteri deserves reject of the day despite getting 7 out of 10. Fourth place is Charles Leclerc. For me, 10 out of 10. Driver of the day. Brilliant start. Got in front of Bottas. Made the two-stop work. Really got every inch of that Ferrari. Literally. He also finished 54 seconds behind Lewis Hamilton. What a supreme drive he put in today. A fantastic shift. Just almost inch perfect. Seriously impressive performance this weekend, and he well and truly dominated Sainz. Fifth place, Sergio Perez, 5 out of 10. The fact he qualified so far down the field in 8th place really did not help Red Bull with their strategy, because of course, as we all know, Sergio Perez is supposed to be there to help Max Verstappen out as a number 2, and he failed to do that completely. So, frankly, he only deserves a 5 out of 10, and that was, and let's be honest, his pace throughout the race was just really poor as well. Really disappointing. 6th place, Daniel Ricciardo, 9 out of 10. Much improved performance this weekend compared to how he started his season. Was averaged about a 20-second gap ahead of Norris for most of the race, so good job there. Carlos Sainz, 7.5 out of 10. Really got heavily outshone by Leclerc this weekend. Did he get to Q3? I'm not sure, but as it was, I mean, he really was heavily out-dominated for pace this weekend. Really a bit of an average performance from the Spaniard in his home Grand Prix. 8th place, Lando Norris, 7 out of 10. First weekend where finally he was put in his place by Ricciardo, and I have to say, Lando looked very average this weekend. 9th place, Esteban Ocon. 10 out of 10. Now, I know that sounds a bit much, but let me explain. He made a one-stop strategy work. He qualified P5 in that Alpine, once again dominating Alonso. I am really surprised at how the Alpine teammate battle has turned out so far. I mean, Esteban Ocon has seriously got Alonso's number so far this year, and I have to say, I'll go on to Alonso in a bit, but Esteban Ocon looks like he's finally making a step up from his performances last year. Well done. 10th place, Pierre Gasly. 9 out of 10. Yes, I know he jumped his grid slot at the start of the race. Was forced to serve a 5-second penalty as pit stop for that infringement. But the way he carved his way through the field, especially the last 10 laps, was so impressive. Getting past Kimi and Stroll, and of course, the very slow Spaniard at Alpine. 9 out of 10, and of course he put in a decent qualifying performance. I know he missed out in Q3, but he was faster than Tsunoda by at least 4/10 of a second, and I'll get on to Tsunoda in a bit. 11th place, I think it's going to be Kimi Räikkönen, despite it saying Stroll, because of course Stroll has a 5-second penalty for his shenanigans with Alonso. 9 out of 10 for Kimi, much improved from last weekend's disaster class. Yeah, he got out qualified by Giovinazzi again, but it was by only 2/10 of a second. And in the race, he managed to make a one-stop strategy work very well. Made the mediums last for 38 laps, then made the softs last for 28 laps. A very strong all-round performance, I've got to say. But of course, as we all know, Kimi does do well around Catalonia. 12th place, I think, will be Lance Stroll once he gets his 5-second penalty. 8.5 out of 10. Out-qualified Vettel. Looked like Aston Martin's best chance of scoring a point all weekend, but of course, with all the shenanigans going on with Alonso and Gasly and Ocon, I mean, he got squeezed out. And of course, that incident around the first corner towards the end of the race where he was shoved out wide by Alonso. Apparently he'll get a penalty for that. I'm not entirely sure why, because apparently he breached track limits when he got shoved out wide by Alonso. But of course we all know how stingy the FIA have become, so sorry mate. 8.5 out of 10. 13th place, Sebastian Vettel, 7 out of 10. Getting closer to Stroll in terms of raw pace. Has been looking a bit more consistent. This probably his most consistent weekends of the season so far. Yeah, he got beat by Stroll, but at least, you know, there were no problems with Vettel's car for once. And Vettel can take positives from this weekend, knowing that he does look a lot more comfortable in the Aston Martin, which, as we all know, is a more difficult car to drive. George Russell, 14th, 9 out of 10. Once again out-qualified Latifi, but not as much as he usually does though. However, his performance in the race was very impressive. At one point looking like he was on the cusp of scoring a point, but of course he made a mistake late on where he got overtaken by Gasly, Stroll, Raikkonen and Vettel, meaning that he was forced to settle for 14th. I think he ran wide of the chicane, meaning that he was forced to give up and his tyres ran out, so that was really unfortunate. 15th place, Antonio Giovinazzi, 7 out of 10. That pit stop, honestly, his first pit stop during the safety car was just abysmal once again. Alfa Romeo are so bad at doing pit stops. I mean, who on earth decided to wrap a punctured tyre up in a tyre blanket? Like, how did no one notice that tyre already had a puncture in it? I mean, the fact that thankfully one of the mechanics noticed that the tyre was punctured, meaning that they got a set of mediums out for him, thank goodness. But of course, as it was, it dropped him way behind Kimi. And then, of course, you know, being stuck with all the back markers, the Williams, the Haas's, and Fernando Alonso, it meant he never had a chance of being able to go and try and chase points. So, you know, I mean, this team's organisation is really lacking now. It's doing my head in. It really is. 16th place, Nicholas Latifi, 7 out of 10. Looked a lot closer to Russell. Although, of course, Latifi drove his pretty usual conservative race, so there's not much to say. But he did have to do 3 pit stops. I think he might have picked up damage. So yeah, I think he did pretty well to finish 16th on the grand scheme of things. And he was running ahead of both Alfa Romeos and both Aston Martins at one point, hence why we're giving him 7 out of 10. 17th place, Fernando Alonso. It's gotta be 5 out of 10. I mean, once again, getting absolutely battered by Ocon again all weekend for pace and racecraft and everything. And the way he defended against Stroll was just so bad. I mean, and not only that, his tyre preservation was just abysmal. Like, Alonso, mate, you are so I really seriously hope you are rusty, because if this is not you being rusty, then yeah, you're seriously past it. If this is you, try doing back to your what you feel like is your best driving. I mean, something's completely gone with Alonso if Alonso cannot improve on this, because at the start of the season I did predict Alonso to finish in the top 10 in the championship and be comfortably beating Ocon, but my goodness me, I mean, this weekend, okay, I know he did okay at Imola, and I know he also finished in 8th behind Ocon at Portugal, but today's race was a real disaster class. A very, very, very scruffy weekend all round. His worst weekend of his comeback so far, and I have to say, you know, if it wasn't for Bottas being a complete stubborn little whatever, then I might have given the Reject of the Day award to Alonso, if I'm going to be honest. 18th place, Mick Schumacher, 8 out of 10. Ran ahead of both Williams very early on, out-qualified the TV, but of course, you know, once the pit stops were complete, he fell back to 18th, just accepted the inevitable. But once again, very, very decent pace. 19th place and last of the finishers, Nikita Mazepin, 5 out of 10. Yeah, annoyed Lance Stroll, ruined Lando Norris's Q1 lap where he got a 5-second penalty and one penalty point added to his super license. Then of course he I mean, let's be honest, Nikita Mazepin is just wasting his time, really. He's never gonna be, I mean, he's just gonna get out and destroyed by Schumacher this year, and frankly I've no interest in talking about this kid anymore, because although of course the only retiring in the race, Yuki Tsunoda, though, had the biggest tantrum ever on the radio after qualifying was complete. I mean, you should have listened to him when he parked up in the weighbridge after he got knocked out Q1, just effing and bleeping everywhere. I mean, that kid needs to calm down. I mean, look, I know you're getting heavily outpaced by Gasly at the moment, but you need to calm down. You need to realise Gasly is seriously getting 100% out of that car, and you just need to focus on learning how to push a Formula 1 car and how to drive a Formula 1 car consistently for a weekend. When to go fast and when to slow down, because at the moment you are getting far too emotional, Yuki. So it's 4 out of 10, because yeah, I know the car broke down in the early part of the race, but to be saying that your car is different from Gasly is just 4 races into your F1 career is a very bad move to make, my friend. But, I mean, I suppose, obviously, yeah, the fact the car broke down 10 laps into the race kind of saved your blushes, but can't be going around talking like that. Seriously, can't be going around having a go at your team so early on in your career. I know, yeah. I know, of course, you know, 3 years ago, Vandal was apparently driving a different car to Alonso because, of course, there was a design fault in the chassis and his car was compromised, meaning that he spent most of the years struggling in comparison to Alonso. But, Yuki, mate, you need to learn to keep these sort of things behind closed doors. And as you probably know, of course, Lewis Hamilton is leading the World Championship. Mercedes are leading the Constructors' Championship. There's not much to say in terms of the championship because I really do hope to God that Max Verstappen now wins at Monaco. Even though, of course, as we all know, track position will be key at Monaco in 2 weeks' time. So, if you enjoyed this video, do all the usual stuff. I hope you'll come back in 2 weeks' time to join me for my race review at Monaco, and I'll see you again next time here at Crystal Racing.